Hi there guys, so finally boxing has returned. A Shakur Stevenson show took place overnight and he managed to win that fight over Felix Caballero in the 6th round. Now it was a big fight, it was entertaining as well. I'm sure there will be some footage floating around online very soon so you can watch that fight, but that was quite an entertaining fight and Shakur Stevenson said after he got hit a lot more in that fight than he is used to. Now obviously Shakur Stevenson is eagerly awaiting, or maybe there is a possible matchup between him and Josh Warrington. So that would be something to look forward to. And if Felix Caballero is hitting Shakur Stevenson more than he is used to, and maybe judging by the way he said that, he did not like it. I mean, no one likes getting hit, but still, the way he said it, that he got hit more than often, kind of means that Shakur Stevenson wasn't too keen on getting hit. He wants to be elusive, he doesn't want to get hit. But against Josh Warrington, you can guarantee he will get hit all up and down that ring because Josh Warrington always starts first, always finishes last as well when he is punching. He doesn't wait on the other guy. Against Lee Selby, he wasn't the most skillful and technically gifted fighter in that fight. Much the same against Carl Frampton and Kid Galahad. He wasn't the most skillful fighter in those fights, but what he does is he doesn't wait on the other guy. He takes the action to them. As I said, first to start throwing, last to finish. And that is why Josh Warrington always grinds out the victory. So if Shakur Stevenson does not like getting hit, if he wants to be elusive and make sure that he does not get caught with too many punches, then he's going to have to be really careful in that Josh Warrington fight, because Josh Warrington will not be someone who he can keep away just by being elusive. That won't be enough. He will have to meet him head on and fight action with action, because Josh Warrington isn't someone who you're going to make miss because he's fast as well and has underrated punching power. So Shakur Stevenson in that fight will not be able just to outbox him and outmaneuver him, because Josh Warrington will find a home for his punches. Now that being said, I'm making it sound like Shakur Stevenson had a really hard night against Caballero. It wasn't that hard. It was difficult for him at times, but I believe that Shakur Stevenson was always in control, and I believe that this was just a fight where he was the better man. He was always going to be the better man, but still, it was a fight he needed, because this was his 14th fight, so he is still inexperienced and he has a long way to go before he is at the peak of his powers. Bob Arum, his promoter, was very happy with his performance. He said this in an interview after: "What a magnificent performance from Shakur Stevenson. He keeps getting better and better, and rest assured, he is a future pound-for-pound superstar." And while yes, he could be, because obviously he's young, he's ambitious, he's only getting better, but still, he needs these big fights. He needs to fight Josh Warrington before he can even be considered in the pound-for-pound talks, even in the top 5, top 10. He's not going to be there unless he fights a bigger fight, like Josh Warrington, who is, probably the number 1 in the featherweight division, because he has wins over Kid Galahad, he has wins over Carl Frampton and Lee Selby. So he has probably the best resume in that division, making him number 1. It's not about the belt, it's about who you fought. I think that the belts don't really represent all that much anymore. I think it's about who you win the belt from and who you defend it against. And Shakur Stevenson does look good. He looks fast, he looks powerful, he looks devastating when he needs to be. He looks elusive as well. But ultimately, he needs that Josh Warrington fight if he wants to be number 1 in the featherweight division. Now, also fighting on the undercard of Shakur Stevenson's show was Guido Vianello, who got another first round KO victory in Las Vegas. Now, Guido is obviously a prospect who is managed, I think, by Sam Jones and trained by Kevin Barry, the same trainer of Joseph Parker. And he now has 7 wins in 7 fights. 4 of his 7 wins have come within the first round, and his win over Hainsworth was also in the first round. Now obviously, at this stage of Guido's career, he will be fighting guys who are put there for him to chop down. It will be around his 10th fight, maybe 11, 12. That is when he will start stepping up, or hopefully he will start stepping up in class, because he needs to. And there are talks of him being maybe the best ever boxer from Italy, or at least that is his potential. He could become the greatest boxer from Italy if he continues on the path he is currently on. Obviously, there is a long way to go from there. Sam Jones is the one who said he could be the best boxer from Italy, and we know Sam Jones, and what a great promoter Sam Jones would make, because he is always hyping up his fighters, doing what he should be doing really. This is what he had to say in an interview with Sky Sports. Guido is fast, he can punch, he's got incredibly fast hands for a heavyweight. He's going to be a serious threat. Italy is not known for its fighters. Guido, I can guarantee you, will be their greatest ever boxer. Guido wants to be world champion and bring big time boxing to Italy. I know he has the potential. Now, Guido was a former sparring partner of Tyson Fury who helped him get ready for Deontay Wilder. So Guido has had some quality sparring with top heavyweights. He is also making good waves as a heavyweight pro as well. Fast hands, very powerful, reasonable movement as well, but he has a long way to go. I think that maybe we have a tendency to get too overexcited by someone who has a string of first round knockouts. So let's see him step up a few levels first and then we'll get back to it. We'll see where he is, because he needs bigger fights. He needs fights like maybe a Lucas Browne next. That would be an interesting fight for Guido and a good step up for him. He needs those kind of fights because if he wants to get on that track to becoming a world champion or even challenging for a world title, then it's a long way to go from here because there are so many heavyweights who want their opportunity. So the best way to get fast track to the top is go and fight those guys. Go and fight the pool of heavyweights sitting just outside of the world champions. Go and fight them and take their position. And that is the way Guido can get fast-tracked to the top. But at the moment, he's had 7 fights as a pro, so maybe a few more gimme type of fights, and then maybe start stepping in with a Lucas Browne or start stepping up the opponents. That is what Guido needs to do currently in his career. But get a few more wins under his belt. He's only had 7 fights, so keep knocking them down, and you will surely get there one day. Anyway, also guys, interestingly enough, because boxing has started again, it is a shock, or maybe it's not a shock, but Alexander Gvozdyk has revealed he is retiring from the sport of boxing after his loss to Artur Beterbiev. Now, obviously, I don't know whether it is because of that loss that he is retiring. I think that he wanted to anyway. It was just if he was going to be able to get a rematch with Beterbiev, that would keep him in the sport. And maybe if he can get a rematch down the line, then he will still come back for that. But at the moment, he is retired from boxing because obviously Beterbiev has his IBF mandatory in Fanlong Meng. So that fight will obviously take priority over a rematch with Gvozdyk. So that means Gvozdyk would have to take a fight in between in the interim and wait for another chance at Beterbiev. And he's not going to do that because he wants to focus on business and other aspects away from boxing. Now, I remember an interview with Bob Arum where he spoke to Tony Bellew in an interview with IFL, I think it was. And Bob Arum explained that Gvozdyk is a very clever guy. He's very smart. And he doesn't often talk about it around boxing people, but he spoke about it around Bob Arum, saying that all of the different things that he is interested in away from boxing, such as politics and business. And Bob Arum explained that he is a very clever guy and has a very good head on his shoulders. So at this stage, he no longer needs boxing. He has made good money out of boxing as well. Top Rank are obviously disappointed with this loss because they believe that Gvozdyk can still win world titles. But ultimately, Gvozdyk has made money out of boxing. He has business aspirations that he wants to follow. And I mean, he has just been in a big fight with Beterbiev. Does he really want to step down the rankings and build his way back up? That's a long way to go to get another challenge at a world title. And if it's not in him, it's not in him. There's no use going in there and tarnishing your legacy just for a fight that you don't really want. So it's better to get out and work on your other aspirations if that's what he wants to do. Because you cannot play boxing, and if your heart is not in it, if your heart is not in the fight, then you could get hurt. So it's best to step away from it and focus on other aspirations. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you drop your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe if you are new. Thanks, guys.